Hey there, guys. We've got news for Global on September 28th, and this week, rejoining me to discuss the news is Tommy. So you can say hello again, Tommy.
Hey guys, thanks again for having me back, Sinzar.
Indeed, and this week is pretty exciting week. Lots and lots of news, and honestly speaking, lots of content as well. This is actually a pretty big deal for the week. Now, just real quick, before we get into the units and all the content, you have to trust me, there's a lot of content this week. How do you feel, Tommy, about the way they just basically gave us 2 or 3 dead weeks earlier in the month, and now we're getting 7 different weeks of events all packed into a single week? Doesn't it make more sense to spread this out? Shouldn't some of these trials and events that we're going to be going over in this news video should have been 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, so we didn't have completely empty weeks and then 7 different things this week?
Yeah, I mean, if you remember the last time I was on, it was the Grand Kuturayaka week, and that was the same thing where we had, Garuda and the Tower and the Sheraton. It was like, why did we have so many dead weeks and then all of a sudden 10 things in 1 week? So yeah, same thing here. I'd say maybe you should just have me on every week and we'll be loaded with content. I'm with you that yeah, spread it out a little bit. Let's get some of these other dead weeks to be a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah, for real, for real. The scheduling is just very strange. But that being said, this week is going to be overloaded.
Yep.
A lot of stuff going on. But okay, let's get into it. So the banner is Void Mage Roka and Curse Bringer Nelika. The JP names we've been calling them are Hollow Mage Roka and Cursed Demon Nelika. So, global translations. I guess this is the more accurate translation. It does look like we're missing the Dragon Roos and the Neovisions Awakened of this week, which would be, I already forgot them, Lastwell and Reagan. War Hero Reagan and Mystical Ice Lastwell. So do you think they're going to just be coming in a future week, Tommy, or do you think they're skipping, Roos entirely? Roos being the Neovision's base, he's kind of like the big deal unit. Lastwell and Reagan, honestly, are who cares? But Roos is missing. Do you think they're going to bring him later, or what do you think?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, he is kind of one of the major characters in the storyline. So yeah, again, the awakening kind of Neovid awakenings are kind of dead at this point. But I mean, for me, I mean, rarely do I use them anymore, but I think the big advantage for me has always been that I can clear some unit space with a lot of those guys because, after all these years, I tend to have 20, 30, 40 of these kind of NVA type units. So, but hopefully they bring Roos. I would like to see him in the mix with Nilik at some point.
And for people that don't know, in the JP server, these 2 events, this one that we're currently getting, and I assume we're getting very soon, the one that involved Tyvis, these were the JP half anniversary events. JP does a kind of weird. JP does double anniversary. They do the real anniversary, and 6 months later they do a half year anniversary. So they get 2 anniversary celebrations. This was their half year anniversary, so it was kind of like a bigger deal than just a generic week like any other week. So it was kind of like a multi-unit thing. Like I said, this was 3 new Neovisions bases. This was also some Neovisions Awakened, and then on the Tyvis banner in JP, it was Tyvis, Leftia, and Yish as brand new units, Neovisions, and then a bunch more Awakened units. So Global is probably going to spread it out a little bit. Instead of getting 6 units per week, we're probably going to get, as we see, 2, and then probably more in the future, spread out a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense.
And real quick, before anyone asks, the big unit everyone's been waiting for is Supreme Diva Axstar's Neovision's Awakening. He came with Tyvis and JP, so he is not due yet, so he has not been skipped or delayed yet. Hopefully he comes with Tyvis very soon, because there's been some, concern that because he's so strong, Global may do global things. But let's hope he comes on time.
Yeah, we'll see.
So as far as the unit, Roka is a premium unit. Keep that in mind. Premium unit. Now, she's got a special vision card step up as well as a regular step up. So if you remember on the Lightning banner, they jacked up the prices pretty high. I think with Lightning, did Lightning have a vision card on her banner? Do you remember, Tommy?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
But I do remember her pity being like 74K, right?
Yeah, it was. It definitely. It
Or
was like.
72.
Yeah, it might actually. She might have had one because I think it was slightly cheaper if you went the non-card route. It was like 71 and like 74 if you went the card route, I think, or something like that.
Okay. So they have definitely, this is what I say frequently is community feedback absolutely matters. Because the community was very loudly outspoken about how unhappy they were with the price jack up on Lightning. They are fixing that, it seems like. So the Vision card step up for Roka is still pretty expensive. It's 70K if you get the Vision card and Pity. But if you skip the special Vision card and go just for Roka, it's only gonna, with this banner right here, it's only gonna cost you 58,500. So actually slightly cheaper than the old Pities for premium. They're actually going down in price. So that's pretty nice, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess the question is is it worth the extra 11.5K to get the card? I suppose that's the real question.
Now let's jump to that card specifically right here. So here is the special Vision card, and as Tommy mentioned, this is going to cost you an extra 11.5 or 12,000 lapis to get this card if you want the Pity as well. 140 magic, 80%, a little bit of evocation stats, some magic evasion, some minor killers, and 500 flat. I mean, the card's not bad or anything, and if you're fighting like a dual race killer, like a bird reaper or something, obviously it's a great card. But overall, honestly speaking, I don't think this card is worth 11,500.
No, I mean, if they were really trying to sell this card, I would say you maybe want to pump the magic up, the base magic up a little bit, maybe 150, 160 or something. And I know 140's kind of become a bit of the norm, but yeah, it's, I mean, not overwhelmingly good, that's for sure.
And it has no LB damage either, which not the biggest thing, but I have been noticing that a lot of units are missing like 100 to 150 LB damage, and when you have to dedicate two different slots to fix that, which for most units have about 150 passive, and getting none on the Vision card, I mean that's two materia slots missing out to fix that LB damage missing, and that can be a burden. So
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and I know that when I start building my units, that's one of the first things I look at is what vision cards do I have that can help fill that void, and this one this one definitely doesn't do that.
So there it is for Roka. 70,000 if you want to go this top row. No, that being said, the top row does have a few extra perks, like more guaranteed neos, etc. STMR tickets, minor stuff. But the big thing is the Vision card. And then if you go this one, 58.5K, which is overall better than old premiums, because old premiums were just 60K and no perks. We didn't have Vision cards on the old premium step up, so I'm happy with the pricing on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the hokey thing that we saw last month, I think was or last week was the step 3 with the one Neo Vision in there. That's kind of a little bit strange, but I mean that's just the format, I guess.
They're still doing that again. Unfortunately, they are.
Yeah.
I would have to. I'm not gonna do it right now, but I would have to add up the number of literal summons you get. Like how many total units are you gonna pull going each way? Because this actually is a smaller summon, single summon, and then two regulars. Whereas up here you're getting mostly full credit pulls. So
yeah, and I guess for me at this point those every time I see one of those banners with the 11 summons and maybe you'll pop a Neo every once in a while, but just having 11 more reds in the mix is just for me not the best.
Now this one seems to be just like the previous one. What was it? The premium Lightning step up, where you're getting rate ups for older units. Warrior's Prayer, Fina, Melissa, Renoa, Red-Eyed Saul, and Deoxys. Now, honestly speaking, it's a relatively competent set of units. You're not getting anyone like Van Harma in this step up. Renoa, that's pretty low quality, but the rest of them are good if you don't have them already.
Yeah, and I'll say looking at that list, I don't have, and you and I have joked about this. I still don't have a Dark Fina, Fina, and I never pulled for Deoxys, so I don't have him either. So and Saul, I know Saul isn't near EX3 for me. So the other two are duds, but hey, those are three quality units for me at least.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I get why they do this. One's a premium, one's not. But unfortunately, the new Nelica is not on either of these banners. Like, she'll be in the EX pool at a 1 in 200% chance, but she has no rate up whatsoever on the Roka banners. And same thing for Roka on the Nelica banner. If you're pulling for one, you are absolutely not pulling for the other one at the same time. And now this one is 45,000. There's only one option. There's no special banner. Nelica is 45,000 exactly for the pity. You got to go 10 laps on this one, and that is it. Or 5.
Yeah,
5 laps.
Just looking at that summon banner just looks so sad compared to the one above it. I mean, there's no perks. It's just kind of like, here you go. Here's 45K if you want her.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm seriously doubting that these are shared pity tickets. Do you know if they've ever done shared pity tickets for these banners? Like, for other banners that had, like, for example, did you pull on the Lightning banner, the actual banner itself?
I did, yep.
Was Hope and Lightning's pity tickets a shared resource? Do you remember?
I don't believe so. I think they were separate resources. And yeah, and I looking at it, I would think if you're pulling from premium, I guess. I mean, if you're going that route anyway, I mean, I don't think you'd be spending those tickets on Nelica, I guess, if you went that route. So
yeah, I was kind of hoping like maybe I could go for Roka and then possibly get great luck and not need the pity tickets. Then I could go ahead and just grab a copy of Nelica or something. But I guess now that I say that probably is too generous for the players. But I guess it probably won't work that way.
Yeah, and I did notice that they have separate, I don't know, like the exchange stores. So that may even be why they do that, just so you can, if you're pulling for one, you're using that store. If you're pulling for the other one, you're using the other store.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, as far as the units themselves, Void Mage Roka, do you want to talk about her? Do you know much about her, Tommy, or do you want me to?
No, I never played JP, so I know she's looks like a dark evocation mage, but other than that, yeah, no, I don't know much else about her.
That's kind of the funny thing with all these, quote unquote, evocation units from this JP event is while all of them do have evocation moves in their kit, their primary damage is actually not evocation. Yeah, she uses regular old magic for her LB, not evocation whatsoever, which honestly speaking is kind of a good thing because for one thing, a JP evoker is always undertuned. They're just scared to death of evokers, making them good. But more importantly, that also makes them scale better as they go into the future because things like amplify fields or higher killer buffs, etc., all of these will work on regular magic. They do not work on evocation. So
okay, yeah, sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. So as far as what she does, not a whole lot. She's got a 100%. I mean, as far as utility in her kit, like she's good damage, but basically she has a 100% LB damage field. Kind of like the Esther field, etc. Except hers is player side only, thankfully.
Yeah.
But other than that, she does do the Roka cooldown reduction for the whole party. Actually, it's AOE, which is really awesome.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. When she does her LB, it reduces the entire party's cooldowns whenever she does her LB. It's really awesome. She is a trance shift, unfortunately, and her shift form is definitely better damage. So she's going to have 4 turns of great damage, 3 turns of less good damage. But the big thing here is the global upgrade. Let's go ahead and look at that. For one thing, she is getting morale per turn in Clash of Wills, so yay.
Nice.
But this leader skill is awesome. So in JP, it was only 750 to evocation units, which are all these units coming in the next few banners. And then the obvious evokers like, Quistis, Yuna, etc. And then anyone that has an Esper in their sprite. So, for example, Supreme Diva Axstar, War Hero Reagan, all these units. As well as units like Renoa, because I guess Angelo is considered an Esper. So, strange.
Interesting. He's a dog, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure why she gets the evocation category.
Why not?
Yeah, but the global upgrade is she is getting, like the Lightning got, a 900% leader skill in Clash for Darkness, as we expected, but Fire as well. And that is extremely powerful. That is going to buff up units like Ayabrea, Flaring Rain, for example. Dwayne is going to get even stronger in Clash of Wills. Even units like Kier, as much as we love Kier, he does get a buff as well. Olive, stuff like basically all the Clash of Wills fire units. And of course, Ibarra is getting the dark side buff. So that's really, really good.
Yeah, that's impressive. I'm happy to see that they didn't just toss that at Lightning and then kind of leave it for a while. I'm glad they're spreading the love a little bit with some of the these newer premiums that are coming out.
Mm-hmm. And now the other really awesome thing is in Clash of Wills, it's going to be a 750 leader skill for those same units. So all of those units are getting so much better in Clash of Wills, like Ayabrea, Flaring Rain. These units didn't have a 750 option before. Now they do. So real quick, let's go ahead and pop over to my little damage spreadsheet where I updated it for the new leader skills. So this is Dark Visions. So in Dark Visions, we haven't gotten to her yet, but Nelica is actually a really good damage dealer. So she's way up there. Ayabrea is now quite close to the top with a 750 leader skill. Here is Roka. Honestly speaking, her personal damage is good, but not like amazingly good. So it's still up there.
Mm-hmm.
And some other new ones are Flaring Rain went up, Kier went up because again 750 is a big deal. Ibarra went up a little bit because her old best was 550, now it's 750. And then Dwayne's not good in Dark Vision, so let's be honest here. But yeah, some really good upgrades in Dark Vision. And then in Clash of Wills, this is now upgraded with a 900 leader skill for Dark and Fire. And here is just some new breakdowns. I also stuck Nelica and Roka in the Clash of Wills tabs for comparison's sake. But yeah, these units went really high with 900% leader skill. That's kind of a big deal.
Damn, Ayabrea is way up there. Holy smokes.
Yeah, 900 Fire Clash of Wills leader skill. That is a really big. She was already at the highest in Clash of Wills. Now she's getting an even better leader skill. Hell yeah. Very good.
No kidding. Wow. That's like, what is that, 25% more than Dwayne? That's a ton more damage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Big damage. Very, very nice.
Cool. Yeah.
And yeah, so that is Void Mage Roka. She also has a 40% Rod in Peril, which is basically for herself. But if anyone else wants to use the Rod, 40%, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. And then Nelica. So Nelica she's kind of a strange unit. So she's got 3 options for damage. She can do physical damage, which is her highest. That's her LB. She can do magical damage, which she does have some skills in her kit that scale on magic. And she can do evocation damage, which is actually, it's not as good as her burst, but it is still really up there, honestly speaking. So she's a very good damage dealer. And she has the 40% Dark Field in Peril. So for all of those people who are losing their mind because Elespirus is being used in Clash of Wills right now, if you want a unit that does the same thing as Elespirus, but actually does literally meta levels of damage, like in Clash of Wills even, she has no morale scaling and she's not getting morale scaling, even just plain old damage. She's way up there in Clash of Wills. And then in Dark Visions, she's among the top in Dark Vision. So yeah, this is who you pull for instead of Elespirus. You pull for Cursed Nelica.
Very nice. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And she's a SLB unit, so she must have a pretty hardy kit if she's got all those different skills in her kit that allow her to do physical damage and evocation damage and magic damage. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then her vision card. Now her vision card is the same one as the old Roos and Nelica. Now it's being upgraded to 140 base stats with attack and magic. No passives really, honestly speaking. But this is, as you can see up here, a little fine print due to technical details. It will not be upgraded until the end of October. So that sounds really far away, but very honestly speaking, even after the upgrade, the card is still pretty terrible.
Yeah,
You're still,
I see a lot of limit burst fill rates on there. That's
yeah,
that's
and
not
that,
usually a good sign for a vision card.
yeah, you're not going to use this vision card no matter what. And we kind of skipped over it, but Roka's premium card, EX3 only, is basically the same as all the previous premiums, except this one is for evocation category at 650. So, Lightning is the Rebels, hers is evocation category.
Yeah, kind of cookie cutter for different just categories, I guess, huh?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. And yeah, so, unfortunately, Nelica doesn't really do a whole lot except damage and the 40% Dark and Peril field. It's mostly it. But her damage is really good. Really good.
There's something to be said for that.
Mm-hmm. And as far as other miscellaneous updates, we're getting some nice leader skill upgrades. So Cloud Strife, this is the premium Cloud Strife, is getting a 500% for Lightning category unit. So if you don't have Zac and you really want to do a Lightning team, Cloud Strife can now be your leader. And then Sephiroth is getting 500 for all Dark units, in case you don't have Deoxys. So, nice, I guess.
Yep. I always like to see Sephiroth get buffed, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Some other units are getting new categories. Blood of Hest. This is more of like a storyline thing. As far as I'm aware, there's no leader for Blood of Hest. This is just like to be lore accurate. A bunch of the Last Wells, etc., are getting it. And then here we go. So a lot of units are also getting Chaos Wave. Or oh my God, Clash of Wills Fire added to their kit, and then Dark is it says and more. Are there even any more Dark that don't have it already? So we've already got Alispira. So Ibarra, Melissa. Who else is even Dark Clash of Wills?
Yeah, can't think of any, but maybe that just leaves the door open in the future if they have any other units, I guess.
Oh, Carton and Yigni.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay.
Really old ones.
Yigni, woo!
And then here's another one. So there's being all your espers are being expanded. You're getting new skills. So for anyone that was like, I'm so happy I maxed out Kokoryu. Well, not anymore. All of the espers are getting new grids. So hopefully you've got a big reserve of what's it called? Not Super Sight.
The Esper Ore stuff. Yeah.
What's the one that expands the? It's not Super Sight. Super Sight's the level up. What's it called? Mega Sight? No.
No.
Oh God, what's it called? Aura Sight? No. I can't think of it.
No. Don't know. Yeah, I mean, the skill upgrade stuff is usually the ore stuff that you gotta trade in for the different colored ores. But yeah, just to level the espers, you use the super sights and stuff. So it's interesting. Because I know that in a lot of the kind of the Bahamut and stuff, I think they started to do more buffs in the sort of like the killers and stuff. Is this going to be expanding even more outside of that, just giving you additional skills in all these espers? I don't know. Did JP do this as well?
Yeah, JP. So what they added more grid, so the grid is bigger, and they also went back and buffed up all the existing stuff. So just as an example, you know how Shiva has those like 2016 skills that like power break of a 15% attack break. All of that kind of stuff was upgraded to, I want to say modern day. They're still underwhelming, but a lot more relevant. For example, like a 15% attack break goes to like 75 or 80%, stuff like that. So like, like Fenrir or something has like a 100% attack buff. Now it goes to like 250 or stuff like that. I'm making up numbers, but you get the idea. Like all of the old years and years out of date skills get like an overhaul to be more modern.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, that's, some of these espers are almost useless with some of those skills that they have, at this point. So to upgrade, that's really, really smart.
Mm-hmm. And then a bunch of events. Like I was talking about, we've gotten so much content this week. So thankfully, again, it seems like they've heard our feedback about how they were just skipping crown fights entirely and giving us they now cost, enhancement materials, not crowns anymore. Well, we're getting the crown fights, so yay. This is the equipment fight against Adamus, and it gives you the Void Mirage. This is 1,000 magic for Roka only. This is going to be... I'm pretty sure this is actually her literal best in slot. It's even better magic than the Dark Vision's Rod. So it's pretty nice for those of you that don't have 10,000 Void Stone or Xenos. What's it called? Dark Matter.
Hmm.
to buy the Dark Rod. That's good.
Yeah. Yep. Very good for her.
And then we're getting crowns for Titus, and we're actually getting the crown stage. So silver crowns for Titus, and silver crowns for the returned Fina. As far as what they do, this basically just gives her a stronger light amp field and a single target light amp. And Titus gets more damage, but it's not enough to matter, unfortunately.
Oops. Are these? Is the Titus crown fight late? I mean, is this something we should have had a while ago, or is this just kind of they just toss these in
No,
kind of randomly?
these actually came during this event. It's kind of like off topic because this is like the evocation event, and yeah, it really was like unusual for the JP servers to just toss in these this week. But yeah, these came during this event in JP, so these are like right on time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was worried that we just skip them from here on out, so that's good to see them come back.
Oh, you know why Titus is probably here is because Roos was on this banner in JP. So it was like Roos was the water leader, and so they kind of like buffed up some old water units, and Titus was one of them. Probably
Yeah,
why.
makes sense. Yeah,
As,
makes
as,
sense.
as far as Fina, I have no idea why.
Why not?
Exactly. And as far as challenge, I don't think these were super hard. Then again, on JP, I did have Titus himself, and it is locked to Water or Final Fantasy X. Are there any global water units you can think of that are water tagged? Cacteria and Tiana. Anyone else?
Oh boy, that's a great looking combination there. No, I can't think of anybody else that jumps out. I mean, does Tifa have water at some
Oh
level?
yeah, she does. She does. Yeah, she counts as a water unit.
Okay.
So
So maybe she'll be a little more useful than Cacteria. Although Cacteria can help you with some of the other stuff. I mean some of the skills that you might need to do some buffing or something. So
And then this one is Evocation or Anniversary JP. Okay, so Anniversary JP is a relatively big category. Dark Rain, a bunch of the premium units, etc. So this one shouldn't be any problem really.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it sounds like that one's gonna be pretty easy.
And then they're rerunning the Genesis of Chaos Dark Visions event. So this is the actual story from Dark Visions from like way back when this is like from 2019 when Dark Visions was introduced. Remember, it had like an actual story where you go through and Bahamut keep summoning Dark Visions units, etc., etc. Well, if you didn't play it back in like 2019 or so, you can play it now. It has a storyline, kind of, sort of, for Dark Visions.
And actually, I like the storyline of it, and I think it kind of was cool the way they, at least the first few Dark Visions kind of, made it part of this story, and then like 30 Dark Visions events later, it's like, okay, this is just about kind of PvP type, damage dealing. So it'll be cool to see this one again.
Mm-hmm. And then this is again something from JP. So you know how when you do a crown fight, if, for example, you do the Titus crown fight and you just absolutely hate Titus and you don't want his crowns, you can trade them in for the silvers for gold. Same thing, it's just like JP was streamlining it. So instead of doing each individual exchange shop, now they all do the fragment. So whenever you don't want a unit silver crowns, you can trade them in into remnants, and those become a single master crown. I would recommend you never do this because who knows in the future when you might want to use a unit that gets crowned. Ricard is terrible. After being crowned, he's still terrible. But there might be a Final Fantasy II locked event in the future, and you're going to regret not crowning Ricard someday, just as an example. So I recommend you never trade in your silver crowns, but if you really want to, they're just updating the process.
Yeah, I think for me, and personally, I've done this. I'm embarrassed to say, but like before they kind of made you click to that you wanted to exchange, I actually if sometimes the first 3 crown fights are easy and you knock those out, but you can't quite beat that 4th one, but you want that skill. Maybe you may. I know that I did this on accident a couple times where I used a gold crown to get the 4th, get that 4th crown that would have been from the unit specific fight. So now I have I think 1 or 2 extra just silver crowns from these fights that I can't use. So if I can trade those in to get like even these Master Crown type remnants, that'd be good for me because then maybe I can get a Master Crown down the road. But they're just sitting in my inventory now, so.
Yeah, and that's actually I didn't even think that's actually a perfect example. A lot of people did that mistake, because the UI didn't have the warning box early on. And yes, and you can't trade at the current system. You cannot trade silvers unless you're trading all four at the same time. These are one at a time. So yes, you can take your one leftover Dark Rain crown or whatever it is and trade it for a fragment, and you can do all the singles, and you can get a small refund for the mistake.
Yeah, and I know that I contacted customer support about that, so maybe they got a lot of feedback on that, especially after when you couldn't click through and you just kind of were stuck and you did it on accident, and now you have these extra crowns. That's probably why they did it, was just to help people, recover a little bit of that lost Master Crown that you used on accident. So that's good. I like that change.
And then, again, just so much content this week. So, rookie panel quests are getting updated. This is the ones where you go and just do random quests, and then you get rewards for it. Super easy quest. Go do it. You get envy summon tickets, VIP coins, etc., etc. And then the Safer Sephiroth series boss battle upgrade that we saw on the live stream recently. Here's some tips. So, based on the tips, it does sound very similar to the regular old series boss battle, so it seems like he's not getting an updated UI or AI. It's probably going to be the same fight with higher stats. So
That could be free lapis. They used to give 3,000 lapis for beating the fight, so I don't know if they'll give that out, but it's good to see that they're trying to do something with these. I know they've gotten a lot of feedback over the years about series boss battles and how cool they are to kind of harken back to the games and stuff, so I'm glad to see they're doing this.
And then the reward for this, so they're probably not going to give lapis because we're getting this reward instead. Now, when I talked about this on my live stream update video or whatever about 2 weeks ago, as soon as I posted it, I got so many comments saying right here. So it says, where is it? The ore. Here it is. Ore something. So basically, here it is, ore boost. So I looked at this like a wall of text, and I just thought it was combining the passives, and I told everyone on the video, like, you're getting 150 stats. Apparently that is not the case. So correcting myself here, if you're a Final Fantasy VII or Clash of Wills unit, you're going to get 100 stats, etc., 50 HP and MP. Or if you're not Final Fantasy VII or Clash of Wills, you'll be getting 50 stats or 25 MP HP. Even so, even knowing that, it's still a very good materia.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, it would be way too good if it was combining the two. But yeah, it's still. I mean, that you're getting nice percentages on all your stats, so I think it's definitely worth getting.
For sure. So what do you think? Do you think this is going to be, because this is permanent content, do you think this is going to be just like as a comparison on the same difficulty level as the Queen Byakko trial, where it's like, not impossible, but you definitely have to be like a veteran player to seriously beat it? Or do you think it's going to be like a weekly event boss where, maybe new players can't OTK, but veterans can bring in there with a Richt and turn one? What do you think what do you feel it's going to be tuned around?
I hope it's more the first, which is it may be more along the lines of some of the I don't know, elemental battles that we had for a while there. Maybe somewhere along that line, so that it's like where you had 3 stages and you kind of had it took 7 turns maybe for once you got some of the higher quality units like Richt, you could blow through some of those, but I'd like it to be like a 5 to 10 turn fight, not a 1 or 2 turn fight. So we'll see. I mean, it's that we, I don't want it to just be, just crap content, but I guess we'll see with this first one. And again, I would love that they continue to do this. Not like the, some of the stuff, the Vengeance Chamber that they kind of left in the dust after they dropped Morgana in there. But I know it takes time and energy to create these things, but I mean, this is a good start. I always loved the series boss battles, even though the last 4 or 5 were kind of junky. But
and there's actually quite a few of these that we never ever got on global, not even the 7-star version. So this would be a perfect time to bring the skipped ones as an upgraded to NeoVision's levels fight. For example, Final Fantasy VIII Ultimecia, Final Fantasy III Cloud of Darkness. There were some others that we skipped. I don't recall. Necron, Final Fantasy IX. We didn't get that one either. We got 10s for Braska. There was a few others we never got, but overall, yeah, there's a few of them we never got on global. 13s, Orphan, never got that one.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of. To me, like, this is just ripe for. Hey, we have this content from the past that we never launched. If we just update it, and kind of get a little bit more kind of oomph behind the bosses, we can. This is something they could easily do. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, to me, it makes sense to do this and instead of just kind of leaving them behind.
I definitely hope they bring all of those, as well as upgrade the old ones. You know, the Kefka fight, top tier. I'd love to do it again for NeoVision stats. It'd be great.
Yeah, that was a fun fight for sure.
And here's just the news telling about the upgrade. I'm not going to go over these. It's, you know, Titus deals more damage. Fina has better buffs. That's the summary of it.
Yep, sounds right.
And again, yet another very big deal content. So we're getting the Vision of Might, the Vision of Medine. So this is actually a new trial. Now, it's not a super hard trial, but it's a fight you have to do 9 different times to get the final reward. You've got to beat this guy with a complete and total team of elemental tags, one of each element. You've got to do a pure fire team, a pure ice team, a pure lightning team, etc. And now on the JP server, there was a way to completely cheese this fight and basically break the fight and make it an auto win. I actually did it's not a bug by any means. It's no like glitch, no threshold skip. It's kind of an oversight by the developers, but basically there is one skill this boss uses, a 100% defense break, and it's reflectable. So you cast Reflect on a specific turn and 2 stacks of Nethicite to stop the other attacks, and then the third magic spell is a 100% defense break. It bounces on the boss and one shot. Yeah, it's literally one shot. So
wow.
I'm wondering if Global has fixed that or changed that, because with that in there, it really is a cool idea to beat this guy with 8 different, because he's sort of a little bit challenging, and especially if you don't have just an overpowered meta team or a bad element, for example, like, you know, the water element or the earth element. You know, these aren't great options, and it can be pretty hard. But you know, most people on JP, myself included, to be fair, just reflected that and one-shot this guy and got credit and got it all done. So I'm kind of hoping Global fixes it, but at the same time, that would probably also cause backlash about Global making it harder. I don't know. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think they should take out that skill so that it's actually a real fight, or should they leave it in so everyone just gets a free win?
I mean, this is permanent content, right? It sounds like you go see a Moogle and you talk to him, and it opens kind of like the old, I don't know, you got like some kind of sword back in the day if you fought the White Dragon or whatever. But to me, like, make it hard. Don't make it just a walkthrough, because then, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, takes the fun out of it. And for me, some of those fights early on were tough. That White Dragon was tough in the early part of the game, and that, you know, that's how this should be, not some kind of cheesy, you know, easy to beat fight using a kind of a, I don't know, it's a mechanic that's there, but I mean, you know, if you can take that out, then I'd like to see the fight be somewhat of a challenge.
So, you know, assuming Global keeps it exactly, and they probably will, assuming they keep it exactly as it is, I'll definitely do an updated, you know, cheese video for everyone that wants to see it. I've already got one from the JP server if you really want to look it up now. I'll definitely do one for Global as well, but I'm also going to do the, you know, correct way, where I'm going to do it with 8 different teams that does not use that bug. So, and again, it's really not that hard. Just doing it completely as intended. It's still not that hard. Like, this is nowhere near the Queen Byaka trial. Nowhere near it. Way easier.
Yeah, 2-3 turns probably, and you got them done. So, yeah. No, that's good. I love content, so that's great.
And here's the reward. This is the final reward. Each time you do a different team, it gets stronger once you've done all the different teams. This is the final reward. So it's an accessory, 80 at Spirit and Magic, and then 50 to LB damage, Evocation damage, and Esper damage. So it's overall just really good. Just all by itself, it's just better than Yuna's necklace, and then it also gives evocation stats for anyone that uses evoke. So it's really good.
Very cool. So you beat it, you get a basic necklace, and then you just keep upgrading it, kind of like the Clash gear or whatever, until you get it to its final state. Is that kind of how it worked?
Exactly. Yeah, the first one is I think 5 Magic and Spirit. Beat it once, it becomes 15 Magic and Spirit. Beat it twice, it becomes 20 Magic, etc., until it gets to 80 for the final upgrade with the passes.
Looks very nice.
Fun content. And then more content for the week.
Wow.
A story upgrade for Season 4. Here we go. Nelica, Roos, etc. And then, Chapter 8, Part 2. So, also, it looks like kind of a spoiler. So, Metzi is being introduced. Or is he already introduced in the Season 4 story? I'm kind of skipping all over in Season 4. Is he already in Season 4?
I think he was introduced last time, but it's been a couple months, I think, since we've had a story update. So I better go back and brush up on the story because I've forgotten what the heck's going on. So but yeah, like you said, this could have been dropped a couple weeks ago when we had literally nothing to do, and it would have been a nice filler. But yeah.
And then the last content, more content just crammed into this week, is Dark Visions. So Dark Visions is coming. We kind of knew this was coming already. Rankings, and again, we know we're getting copies of Dark Dragon Buffin, or whatever he's called. I forget his technical name. The Buffin unit. So rank 1's getting 7 copies. There also should be 1 copy in the milestone. So everyone that does Dark Vision should get 1 copy. And then if you rank high, you'll get more copies. So up to the top 10 players are getting EX3 on day 1. And then, it takes 3 copies. So rank 2,000 and above will get EX2. Actually, no, you need 3 copies plus the base. So actually, top 1,000 get EX2. And then for the rest of you, you're gonna have to do more events. He should still be there in future Dark Vision, so you can work your way towards EX2 or EX3 if you don't get it on day 1. But the unit's kind of bad anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, just another put him on the shelf kind of unit, I guess.
And yeah, here's the unit. We saw him on the live stream. He's basically a trophy unit, and the TMR and STMR are not even good, so who really cares? Yay.
Now, are we getting new Dark Visions weapons, or is there going to be more coming? Or
there are a lot more in JP, and I was just looking to see if we're getting any more of them. It looks like we are not yet, so I guess Global is delaying those as usual. I don't know where they are. Wow, sad face. So the last thing is, when do they open? Oh, they're not telling us the schedule. Oh, so are these going to all be open on day 1, or we got to wait till Saturday to get the final boss? I guess they're not telling us, huh?
Yeah, well, hopefully they open it all on day 1. I guess the one thing I will say with this is, I love the Dark Visions weapons, especially the two-handers, is, man, I don't know about you, but when they made the switch into the item world, the rates are just horrific on getting rares. I mean, and you get random rares now, so it's like you can run a weapon for 2 months just trying to get 1 upgrade on the weapon. I like the fact that you can keep your weapon upgrades and then just kind of gradually get it better, but man, they need to do something with those rates, man. They're pretty bad.
Definitely, absolutely. And then the last event, this is not really news, but just amusingly to point out, maintenance is expected to take 13 hours. That is
I think they're pumping up. I think they're pumping up the numbers a little bit so they can come in at 10 and look really good. That's my, because they've been coming in under a couple hours early the last few. So I think it's set the bar low and then over deliver. You know what I mean?
Yep, definitely. It does seem that way. And then the last thing to mention, I guess I should say, is Clash of Wills is still open for 2 more weeks. If you're going to go for Roka with her new leader skill of Fire and Dark 900 Clash of Wills, that should make Clash of Wills dramatically more manageable, because fire and darkness, as we already know in the current Clash of Wills, like that's literally the best units we're already using in Clash of Wills. So, for example, Aya, Dwayne, Ibarra, Rain. Not really using Cleom and Kier in Clash of Wills right now, but you could. But basically, Rain, Ibarra, Dwayne, and Aya are on quite a few of the high-ranked teams, and now with Nelica to lead, I'm not Nelica, with Roka to lead them, that'll be a significantly stronger. Not to mention, you could drop stupid Elena from the party and bring Abigail in that case. So
Yeah, that's a good call. All right, so right now, are you leaning towards pulling for Roka and maybe skipping the card and doing the 58K, or are you just kind of still going to see what her final kind of numbers are before you go down that road?
I definitely want Roka, honestly, because she will basically make my Dark Visions team better in addition to Clash of Wills. So my long-term goal based on the current JP server was kind of to go for Locke in the future, because he's fire and he buffs up Genesis and all that. Not to mention he also buffs up units I really like. For example, Flaring Rain is a really good unit in Dark Visions as well, and him getting a better leader skill would be really nice. But now Roka can be a really good temporary holdover, or just a good unit, period. The issue I have with that is you really want Nelica to go with Roka for the field. Mm-hmm. But my other thought, though, is maybe I could go with Roka in Dark Visions and just honestly go like a pure fire team or something. So it'd be Roka to lead, and then like Aya, Flaring Rain, and I don't actually have Kier, but it's amusingly that Kier is actually with a 7th leader skill surprisingly decent in that. But I could also go Vanille instead for the Imperil field, because I got Vanille off banner pretty recently.
Yeah, so did I. So it kind of worked out well. So yeah, I mean Roka seems like a very useful unit to have for sure. Especially it's nice that she's useful in both Clash of Wills and Dark Vision. So that's good.
So I'm leaning towards probably going for Roka. Now, as far as the Vision card, honestly, for me, this Vision card, just me personally, I'm not impressed enough. I think this Vision card for me is going to be a skip. It does have Tsukiko on the art, and I love Tsukiko, but not enough for this. Like if it had LB damage on it, probably, but it's missing that LB damage, and I just know from recent experience, gearing up units and having to waste an entire slot for more LB damage is getting tiresome. So I think the card is a skip.
Yeah, and to me, like, if you really wanted to make these cards more enticing, then don't put the unit requirements on there either. Just make them kind of free for anybody to use. So, I mean, I get it. There's a lot of FFB units in this banner and stuff, but still, I mean, make it more useful for everybody.
So, I guess that's mostly it for the week. As far as me, I will be doing videos on Thursday. There's so much to do. I don't know what I'm going to do first. I've got to do all this new content. I got to go back to Clash of Wills if I get Roka, and still go for a rank 1 clear. With Roka, I feel like the rank 1 clear with Roka will be so much easier to turn on all modifiers and get it done. So that'll be, something to do. I do Dark Visions. A lot to do on Thursday.
Yeah, luckily we got 2 weeks for both of them still once Thursday hits, so that's good that there's still so much time. But and a lot of permanent content too that you can get to a little bit later if you're really banging your head on the Clash of Wills and Dark Visions. So.
But this has definitely been one of the longest news videos in a long time. Thank you for joining me, Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And just keep in mind in the future, if you keep inviting me, we'll keep getting a lot of content.
It would be amazing. But all right, so I will see you guys next time.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.